Hi, this is Diane. We want to welcome you to the Just Kidding Around show. Thanks so much for joining us. This week we are going to be making some raw food. So you have permission to hit record on the on your VHS or whatever you have there and tape the show if you'd like. And enjoy the show first time through and then get some supplies. And we are re-welcoming Britnee. Hi, Britnee.
Hello.
I like calling you Britnee Spears, even though that's not really your name, but I like to call you that. This is Britnee Sperry, is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and she's an actual chef. So, and do you want to say hi to anybody?
To all my family and friends that support me in this, yeah.
Okay, so throughout the show we'll probably talk a little bit about what you mean support you in this, about what raw food is. So thanks again for joining us. Hi, Mr. Feeney. And I'll say hi to the Cabanatans. Hi to the Cabanatam family. So let's get started.
So we're going to be making fettuccine Alfredo.
All right.
Out of zucchini noodles and cashew Alfredo.
Okay.
It's really one of the simplest dishes that I make, and it's a very fun dish to get your kids involved or your family involved. And
Okay.
how I make the noodles is I just take a vegetable peeler, and you can use any other. You can use yellow summer squash or carrots or beets to make.
Carrots too would be good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's a little bit more difficult with the vegetable peeler, but there's also special spiralizers that you can buy like at regular stores that make more round noodles,
All right.
like spaghetti noodles.
And so that's how we. Now, are you actually going to eat this outside?
I usually
that
keep
tough?
the outside. It doesn't. I'll show you. I'm going to marinate it with some salt and olive oil,
okay.
and it really softens it up. And what I usually do is I warm it for about an hour or so before at a very low temperature, and you can do that in your oven if you have a low setting.
And it's still considered raw.
As long as it doesn't
Even
exceed
though-
118 degrees,
Okay.
then the life enzymes are still preserved.
Okay. Wow. And this is a zucchini, you said, but you could also, the name of the show is actually Raw Noodles.
Oh, really?
So that means we haven't cooked these. And what would be the advantage of this raw type of noodle over just a traditional white pasty noodle?
Well, this is fresh, live vegetable. You get your serving of your 5 servings of fruits and vegetables.
So what a
throughout the
great
day.
way to get a serving of vegetables, by scratching those white, pasty, fattening water and flour noodles. Now, what are you going to do with that?
And you can actually use these in raw dressings,
Oh,
and
okay.
I make a hummus out of it.
Ooh.
So I just use the innards of these and put some tahini.
I'd love to taste your hummus sometime.
It's really, really good.
Okay. Are you having your raw support group tomorrow?
We aren't, but
Okay.
we
Maybe we'll
do
hummus
have
sometime.
them. Yeah.
Or we could do a show on hummus. I love hummus. All right.
So if you
Do you want me to do that?
I'll do one more, and then I'm gonna have you take over.
And we don't
doing
have to do all 6 of those. That's a beautiful display. How pretty food can be.
It really can, just in the simplest forms. And that's what I try to capture, that you can do many different things. It's not limiting to use fruits and vegetables and fresh nuts and seeds to create food, especially with the visual effect of food. It's very appealing.
Well, gosh, you can do at least, do you do noodle dishes all the time?
I do, and you can make a marinara sauce.
Yeah,
you can
because most families do spaghetti at least one day a week, I would think. And heck, that means at least one day a week you can have your noodle, your vegetable would be your noodles. So I like this little bowl too. What a nice little size bowl.
So I'm gonna put a splash of olive oil.
And this is going to soften it. Is this the part you said?
And you just kind of, just a little, probably about a tablespoon of olive oil.
Did you bring that salt?
And this is Celtic sea salt, and
because you asked me to bring salt. I was going to say that doesn't look like my salt.
I really.
Could you show the camera? Oh, good. Somebody's got awesome close up. Oh, there it is. Good.
And it's a very big grain salt, and so you have to use like a mortar to.
So why? Okay. Why don't you just use a smaller grain salt then? Why
Well,
do that?
I really feel the health benefits of Celtic sea salt. It has a lot of minerals. It really.
Okay.
It's a good salt. You don't have to be as guilty of using.
Okay. I like your mortar there. Looks like a mushroom.
It's handmade.
Oh, really?
So just a couple pinches of salt.
Okay. So far we have zucchini, olive oil, and salt.
And you just want to kind of massage it in a little bit.
And that softens that tough outside, because aren't there a lot of vitamins in the skin?
There's lots of vitamins.
Okay.
And since zucchini is a very watery type of actual,
Oh, yeah. And then that.
it really helps to
Okay.
keep those extra nutrients in. So if you wanted to continue to do some zucchini,
Yeah,
I
why don't we
can-
do one more, and then,
Okay.
then maybe, do you want to
Do you
take the
wanna-
others home? Or maybe I'll take one home so I can try this at home. Is that okay?
yeah.
Gosh, I can do this. The last show I did was on beading, and I didn't do a very good job. I was making a mess of everything. I can do this.
So while you're doing that, I'm gonna get the sauce started.
Would cucumbers be too insane to make noodles out of?
They're really watery. It would
Too
be
watery.
hard to. It's not very stable.
Okay, so different kinds of squashes. A carrot seems weird, but it
I don't know if
works,
you
huh?
would use an Alfredo sauce.
Not an
You could
okay.
use it just as that in like maybe a salad or something, a very light Italian seasoning or Italian dressing. So it's going to be about, we're going to start out with 2 cups of water.
All right, you're being pretty precise. You're not eyeballing it.
I usually eyeball it, but to give people more of a sense of
Yeah, that's
doing it
kinda-
themselves, I've just found by familiarizing myself with these recipes that eyeballing
Got it.
works really well for me.
Yeah, because Brittany's usually a splash and a pinch of everything.
So I'm going to put about 2.5 cups at first of raw cashews.
Okay.
And you can, to make this process easier, you can soak these cashews overnight, and it softens them. And that's what I usually do with most raw nuts, is I will soak them if I'm using them in any recipe. They have a growth inhibitor in them that is released which makes it easier to, it like pre-digests it when you soak
okay.
it.
Yeah. Now, if you not all nuts are considered raw. They have to actually say raw on them. If they say cashews and they don't say raw cashews, then
These are big cloves of garlic.
yeah, they are. I bought them at the farmer's market.
Really?
Yeah, the market's not open right now, but I meet people there during the winter months, and they bring me organic food.
That's a
Is that
really,
okay?
really good. Oh yeah, that's
All
a really
right.
good.
We're so
System.
lucky to have a farmer's market. Now, while you're chopping that up, I can say that you're involved in several nonprofit groups, aren't you, around town? The Free School, isn't that a nonprofit?
Yes,
And what
we do.
happens at the Free School?
Well, we do many different types of classes at the free school, where we do food demonstrations, and we have an info night where we bring a bunch of samples of different kind of more exotic raw and living food products
Ooh.
and talk about, the concept of raw and living foods to
Yeah.
give people more of an idea. And we hold potlucks and support groups monthly. And it's really just created a really great support system for people that have decided to venture into
So is
raw
it
living
hard?
foods.
Do you feel like you need, when we first started the show, you wanted to thank the people that support you. Does it take a lot of support to do this?
It takes a lot of support and dedication, and it's definitely a journey and a process. It doesn't happen overnight for most people. For some people it does, but the majority of people, it just doesn't.
So how do you feel? You've been raw a year and a half, right?
About 2 years.
About 2 years. So how do you feel? How'd you feel 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago? Or
Well, I feel a lot more energized. I feel a lot more
energized.
positive about my life.
Okay.
It's just a better outlook overall and
Okay.
perspective on life.
So it's just a real positive spin on your life. Now, I think I was talking. You put in. You had the cashews, the 2 cups of water,
And I put 2 cloves of garlic that I crushed.
2 cloves of garlic. So we just
And you
made
don't
number
have
2.
you don't have to crush it before you put it in, depending on how strong your blender is. And I'm putting juice of 1 lemon.
All right.
Depending on the size of your lemon, I might put a little bit more after tasting it.
Okay. So some of this is personal taste then. Okay. And is it going to be hard to blend those nuts?
Not in this.
Okay.
It happens, like I said, if you
Depends
don't
on how
have a
strong
high
the blender is.
if you don't have a high-speed blender, I would recommend soaking them overnight, which really
All right.
helps.
And if you need this recipe, feel free to just write in. The address to the stations follows this. So you can do that.
And then I like to put Italian seasoning in it.
That's not really Italian. That's just oregano.
Okay, oregano
Is that okay?
Fine. Yeah. You can put like oregano, any seasoning really that you want in it. I
You said
prefer.
Italian. Okay. So just season to taste then. Are seasonings considered raw?
You can get some seasonings that are dried at a low temperature. It's not necessarily guaranteed, but for how much you're using.
The brand name a little bit.
I'm gonna turn it on.
That's a nice shot. So that'll actually come out creamy. Now, is this as fattening as a cooked Alfredo with all that?
Not at all. This has
Really?
healthy fats. Fats that are really essential for.
Okay.
I feel like the fats that are present in more cooked sauces are not as healthy for you.
Okay, so have you gained weight or lost weight since you've gone raw?
I would say my weight balanced, really.
Balanced, okay.
So it's kind of been up and down with, I've become more active, so I've had muscle gains and.
So do most people balance? They either gain or they go to what their natural weight should be. So for most people, they'd lose weight if they went raw. I know people that have lost like 90 pounds and they eat more food, they just went raw.
So I'm going to taste this.
How is it?
It's really good. I think that
You mean we're done already?
I'm going to add a little bit more salt.
My goodness, most dinners take, in fact, there's a gal on TV, I won't mention any names, but she's on a cooking challenge. She brags about a half-hour meal. A raw meal can be done in 10 minutes. Huh?
And if you add a salad, I mean, that's only going to add about 5 more minutes.
Yeah,
So,
and this is something the kids could do. They could be, you know. That,
So I'm
that
gonna
was
add-
faster than boiling noodles, I'll tell you that.
I'm going to add some more lemon and some more salt.
And what do you call, Britnee, what do you call that thing you're,
This is a lemon grinder.
oh, that's a good name for something that grinds lemons. A lemon grinder.
So another half a lemon. So depending on the size of the lemon, about a whole juice of whole lemon or 1.5 lemons.
Okay.
And then probably about a teaspoon of salt total.
Okay.
So that's our sauce. Get some of these things.
So we've got the noodles and the sauce. Is there anything else we need?
I'm going to chop up a couple tomatoes
Oh.
to kind of.
Now, what do you think? There's so many different kinds of tomatoes out there. What's your opinion on Roma versus vine ripe? And
I don't really have a preference.
Oh.
I just go for the ones that are ripe and ready to eat.
ripe, ready? What about organic versus non-organic?
I do organic.
And why do you think organic matters?
There's a lot of different reasons. I like to support the local agriculture, and I think organic is a much more conscious way of growing your fruits and vegetables. So
Okay.
it doesn't
These are
have
the-
the pesticides and the hormones.
These are the Romas right now, I think, organic Romas.
I prefer, like, if I'm just eating tomatoes, the cherry tomatoes.
Oh, I love little cherry tomatoes, yeah. So is this going to go in the sauce or on top of it for
You
for
can
color?
do either if you
Okay.
want. I probably put some while I'm mixing it and some on top for
Okay.
a little bit of. And I'm using a serrated knife for the tomatoes. It's much easier.
That sure cuts through that tomato. It doesn't squish it up.
So to have a serrated knife is really makes it much simpler when cutting a
Yeah,
tomato.
that went right through those tomatoes.
So the noodles have been marinating. You can see they're like kind of
Oh,
glossy
so as it
and
sits there,
soft.
it gets softer.
Especially if you're having it warmed. So I'm going to put,
And what temperature did you say you could warm that at?
well, you don't want it to exceed 118, but you can do
Okay.
it up to 150 because if it's a moist product, it's not going to get to 150
Okay.
degrees in the time that you're warming it.
Gosh, that looks like a salad right there. But we're going to add some sauce to it. And this actually does taste like Alfredo sauce, doesn't it?
I do think so. So I'm going to put some of the sauce on.
That's beautiful.
Kind of
We have 5 more minutes.
just in time.
Yeah.
So I'll just plate this out.
Chow's on, huh? Wow. Now, you make, what other sauces do you make to go on these raw noodles?
Well, you can make a marinara sauce with
Okay.
tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes, whatever you like. There's lots of different recipes out there.
How about for macaroni and cheese? Have you tried that raw? What would that be like?
I've made a couple different attempts. It doesn't. I
quite.
try not to do too much
Yeah.
relation to cooked food because it's always a little bit different, and some people's expectations you don't want to. If they're thinking they're
how
coming
beautiful.
for.
Isn't that gorgeous? That looks like something you get in a very fine restaurant, Brittany. And now, you do teach classes down at the free school, right?
I do.
In raw cooking.
So we have those monthly. We have.
All right, I'm going to have to
1
get
to 2
down there and take one of
classes.
your classes. You made the chocolate pie television show. That
Desserts
was so
are my
exciting.
favorite thing to do.
Oh, so you're teaching desserts down there or main dishes?
We're doing all different kinds.
All right.
We're doing kind of covering a whole course so people can feel confident in making full course meals that are raw.
Wow.
So
Well, this is exciting. I don't know. Can they get a close up of what you did in about 20 minutes? That's a raw dish. Boy, that's nothing but pure health, isn't it? Nothing bad in that. Just all vegetables. So, you know what? We have about 3 more minutes. So I want to talk to you about our little display of books.
Okay.
If people want to learn more about raw food, these are some good sources. Do you have some favorite titles over here?
my favorite book that I think I use mostly is the
bet it's
Rainbow
this
Green
one.
Life Food Cuisine. It has a lot of information, really nutritional based, tons of great recipes.
Great recipes in here. Is there one in here for noodles? And
Oh yeah, they have quite a few in there.
okay. And so if somebody wanted to start, this is kind of a good basic book.
And it has a lot of information so you can feel confident in taking on raw living foods because some people
Okay.
have a lot of questions about that.
Okay. And who wrote this book again?
That's Gabriel Cousins is the author of that. He has a couple other books out, Spiritual Nutrition and Conscious Eating, that are more nutrition and informational based.
All right. And then these 2 books are by the family from Oregon that moved here from Russia, actually. And didn't they go raw about 15 years ago, and their family was so sick? when they came here because they weren't used to eating all our processed foods. And then they went raw, and amazing stories that family has to tell. What's their last name again?
The Butankos.
Butankos, yeah. And what else is here that you'd like to say something about? How about this one, Naked Chocolate? Tell me about this book.
That is an amazing book, all based on raw chocolate recipes and
all raw chocolate.
Information behind good complementary ingredients and cacao, which is what they call raw chocolate. It's a really great book.
So you don't have to have carob. You can. There really is raw chocolate.
We've made chocolate butter cups, and they're all raw. It's really great.
That's got to be good. I know raw coconut, it far surpasses any other coconut. And they can buy raw foods in the local health food stores, right? And even a few of the chains. So I think we're getting ready to wrap it up. So I want to thank you for joining us, Britnee. Will you come back again sometime?
Yes, definitely.
All right, thank you. It's always so much fun to have you. And I want to thank Bruce Tenney. He was so kind. He got this wonderful apron for me. So thank you, Bruce, for this apron. Even though I didn't do much cooking, it was fun to have this apron. So thanks, Bruce. And thanks to a fabulous crew. To our audience, please join us again sometime. Bye.